Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let me see who was here first. Fancy. Thank you so much for being here first. And Connie Balmer. Let's see. And everybody else. Okay, let's get started. Um, Sad news about Frank Caprio, the judge that became a viral sensation. Unfortunately, he passed away. I think it was yesterday, and I forgot to mention it. But yeah, beloved judge who had some very emotional moments in his, was it traffic court? Or, no, it wasn't just traffic court, was it? Anyway, I guess it was civil court. Um, I just remember he gave a lot of people a break, he would actually ask them, "What is it that's happening with you?" or whatever. Usually, everyone in the courtroom would start crying because of these very interesting cases that he had. So, um, yeah, very sad, a good man, absolutely, very good man. And also, he appealed for people to pray for him, and he was very grateful that the people prayed for him as he was going through treatment for, I think, the past couple years for um, what was it? Oh my goodness, not prostate cancer; it was pancreatic cancer. Um, but yeah, and if you know anyone who's going through pancreatic cancer, do not be discouraged because more people are surviving longer with pancreatic cancer now than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I could not stress that enough. Cancer is still a very difficult thing, but it's just, I'm amazed at how many people are surviving cancers that I've known of from, a very young age, and they're actually surviving and thriving in spite of everything. So, if you know anyone who's going through that particular type of cancer, do not be discouraged because they have made some incredible um, strides with treatment. So, um, but unfortunately for the good judge, I think about 2 years was as long as he had to fight it. But um, also, early detection is very key with any cancer. So if you see something that it's, don't just ignore it because you hope it'll go away, or I understand if you're afraid to look into it, but the thing is, early detection is the key. And again, survival rates have gone up for so many different forms of cancer. So give yourself the fighting chance if you suspect that you may have something. Just give yourself that fighting chance. Okay. Uh, let's see here. Absolutely love Judge Frank Caprio. I am so sad about his passing. People all over the world admired this man for his compassion and his empathy for others. Condolences to his family. Amen to that. Uh, yep, very good guy. Yeah, Steve Jobs refused the treatment early on. He tried to do an herbal remedy, and unfortunately, it had gotten so far out of hand for him. Yeah, unfortunately, it had gotten so far out of hand for him. But Aretha Franklin, I think she, you know, I don't know how much time she was able to enjoy with her family, but she did, you know, I guess we all witnessed like the dramatic weight loss and everything. But again, early detection, that is key. I'm trying to think who had it and survived and may even still be alive right now, the pancreatic cancer. Oh my goodness, I don't remember who it was, but it was someone famous that had it, and and they lived a good long time if they're not still alive now. I hope. Okay, again, sad news about Frank Caprio, a very loved and admired man, and of course, there's always room for a bottle of the delicious um, as ever rosé with hints of rock fruit. You know, I saw some guy that was on TikTok that was being hypercritical of the wine, saying that, oh, it tastes okay. You can get something cheaper, blah, blah, blah. Well, of course, the very next video he made, there he was drinking it with ice cubes. Oh my goodness, what a connoisseur he is, right? Ice cubes. I mean, nothing wrong with it, but I'm just saying, as critical as he was about the wine, I was just surprised to see him clanging those ice cubes around. Anyways, what I was getting to was this. He said rock fruit. I don't know what rock fruit is. It sounds like something Meghan made up while she was something, he said. And I'm just like, if you don't know what rock fruit is, then look it up. Look it up. Everyone has a high powered computer in their back pocket or wherever you hold your phone. Look it up. He didn't know what rock fruit was. And listen, you guys, I didn't know either. If you all remember, I think it was Lex told me that it was peaches, plums, or whatever he said at the time. I didn't know what it was either. I'd never heard that term used before. But immediately when I found out what the rock fruits were, I could get a better idea what the flavor profile they were hinting about. So if you don't know, look it up. Don't be afraid to ask. But instead, he just skipped that part and he was just being hypercritical about the wine. But that's okay. The notorious JTB took care of him, um, and a few other people. Huh, there it is. There's my favorite dog right there, Gigi. And there's a bottle of the As Ever Rosé. It just looks perfect in any setting. Yeah, it looks perfect in oh, stone fruit. There you go. Stone fruit. Did he say rock or stone? I think he said stone. Yeah, thank you. Stone fruit. Um, but yeah, there. Looks beautiful here. It looks beautiful there. Yeah, that is one wine that goes with any space. Okay, on to the next thing here. As ever, Rosé 2024. Yeah, that is a 2024 bottle. Don't forget, you guys, save the date, the 26th. That is Tuesday. We get a chance to see 8 thrilling episodes of As Ever. That was another thing. Uh, the TikTokers, and not just TikTok, I mean YouTube, wherever they are. Um, I know it's clickbait. I know. I get it. It's clickbait. And they're just all hopping on the bandwagon. But I'm like, must you? Must you really? It's almost exhausting. They have run out of critical things to say. But then when I looked through their channels, I see they were like dragging some of everybody. The thing is, most of the people I saw, they were just so unpleasant. I don't know if I could ever watch them again. I mean, I probably wouldn't because that ain't my type of thing. I mean, if you're not going to drag the Left Behind Royals, what use are you, right? But they're exhausting. They don't live much of a life to have all these observations about life, if you know what I mean. And they all kind of regurgitate the same few talking points. And it's so forced because there's no emotion behind it. You know, in most cases, they don't really feel anything against Meghan, but they have to do that for engagement. And that's pretty pathetic. Meanwhile, Meghan is only becoming more successful and her brands are becoming bigger and bigger. Um, so it's a terrible way to get noticed, I suppose. But yeah, I know they say there's no bad publicity, but I just wish some of the sad, bad, awful publicity would take a break. Um, I think the cynicism that is like perpetuated by the tabloids and from some of the, I guess, content creators, I think it just is giving society like this negative cloud, this dark cloud over society, and it's really unfortunate. But you know what? When you need to escape, you know what I say: protect your mental health and well-being. Just switch it off, and if that includes Royal Sussex, switch it off. Go watch some old movies. Um, Watch The Devil Wears Prada. You know, all of the movies that are coming out uh, this fall and next year, that is something you can do on those days when things are like really awful and mentally draining. Just go and watch some of the older episodes of this show or that show or whatever show. See the part one or two or three of whatever series of movies that are coming to the theater. Like, for instance, I was looking at a channel earlier and they were talking about Downton Abbey. And one of the content creators has never seen it. She kept calling it Downtown Abbey. Anyway, she's starting from episode one. So I'm just giving you guys some ideas of what you can do when you feel like some of this stuff is getting like way too stressful for you. I say escape, escape, escape. Find something that you can watch. Also, if you have a subscription to YouTube, they have so many great old movies. Movies from as recently as the 2000s, the 90s, the 80s. There's some great movies. They have the classic silver screen movies, the film noir. There's a whole bunch of great stuff out there. And usually, when I look at some of those older movies, I'll probably find myself watching a biography about someone in the movie. And that's pretty cool, too. So, those are some good alternatives to feel less stress from all of the negativity that's in the social media and the mainstream media. That is one way to escape. And go for a walk. Go for a walk and listen to a book, um, an audio version of a book. That's another good thing you could do. If you read Spare with the hardcover book, then now it may be time for you to download or however you get it, the audio version. There always just a little difference, some nuance that makes it another experience. So that is something that you can try. Okay, just throwing some stuff out there. Yeah, binge watch Suits. There you go. Something I need to do myself. Oh, very good. Still rewatch the docu-series. That's great. Well, thank you guys for throwing some suggestions out there. Remember, take care of your mental health and well-being. Hi, Heather Stroud. Thank you for being here. Again, season 2 is coming Tuesday, so save the date. And yes, Harry and Meghan are the Montecito miracles. They are the Montecito miracle, those two. I am so impressed with everything that they've done for themselves. I just wish some of the people that have been so critical of everything they do or everything they say, I just wish they would realize how much pressure they were under leaving that very cult like institution and starting a new life while simultaneously having to defend or deflect away from all of the leaking and the briefing. Leaking and briefing. Something that Harry and his brother promised that they would never do. They didn't want to be like their parents, and they both promised each other that they would never use their offices against each other. Well, one of the brothers kept the promise, and the other brother, it looks like he's finally getting his comeuppance. Uh, I hope it never stops. I hope that this means that that is the end of the invisible contract. I hope that they will continue the scrutiny that I'm enjoying so much these days. I hope they continue because it's about time. It is about time. Saying nothing is not doing the other brother a favor at all. Lex says also having and raising their children. Yes, thank you, Legs. Thank you. That is a great point. It's not just that they're building their financial lives and their careers and such away from that institution, but they are also raising two beautiful children. They are creating generational wealth and also creating a perpetual ring of security where they can live their lives freely and yet at the same time sleep soundly and peacefully in their palatial home like any other child. So, thank you, Legs. Oh, Lydia has the Sussex Community Fundraiser for Harry and Meghan's birthday. You know, guys, I do apologize. I fell asleep on my watch and I have not been posting this, so I'm going to put that at the top of the chat. And hopefully, we will do this every day. So, whenever you have the means, if you want to make a donation, please do that. This donation is going through the Sussex Global fundraiser. Anyway, it's still the same squaddies that have put this together for years now, and we um, we know that if we use their links, that it is a trusted way to make donations to support the Sussexes as well, um, because they know it comes from us. And why are we all here? Well, this community came together for Harry and Meghan. So that way you know exactly where it's going. None of it is being used to administrate anything by the people that put this together for us. They usually go through whatever channels they have to get an official link, something that they know will come from the Sussex Squad to the charity. And aside from that, there's nothing else is paid for out of that. no salaries, no nothing. These are just squatties that really love and admire the Sussexes and want to, I guess, embarrass the deranger community because they don't have this. They don't have what we have. They do not fundraise. The only fundraising they do is for themselves. There is no congeniality between any of those people. I have seen some of their infighting, and it is ugly, breathtaking, and so enjoyable. So, um, yeah, they don't have this. They don't have the sense of community that we have. Thank you, Lydia Washington. TM, oh, TMAC, right? Let's see. I'm also rereading Spare again for the third time. Okay, you have embarrassed me. I am going to make sure I go through Spare again because I only did it the one time. And typically I don't go back, but I'm going to do it with Spare because I know that I missed so much. I know I missed so much, and it would be worth it for me. It'd be very valuable for me to do that again. So I shall do it. Thank you for reminding me. And again, thank you for being a member, and thanks for the super chat. That's a great suggestion. Read Spare again. All right. So she knows. She knows. Critics warn Prince William life at Forest Lodge may signal a part time king era. History tells us that Queen Victoria, during her 40 plus years of mourning her beloved husband, Albert, she was away from public duties. She would not open up Parliament or anything like that. She moped and cried, and she had this weird obsession with all things Albert. And well, anyway, she was an absentee queen, an absentee sovereign. And it was like the best thing that could have happened for the Republic movement at that time because it was, I guess, giving ammunition to her enemies. Speaking of which, if I'm correct, I believe that there were 8 assassination attempts against Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria was a very curious person. Meaning, I mean, not curious in that she was a strange person, but she was that too. But she had a lot of curiosities and she had a lot of interests, and she never stopped learning. She never stopped studying and learning other languages. I believe she could write in, was it Farsi or something like that? She never stopped. She was a voracious learner. She wanted to know how everything works. She was the first, I believe, uh, the first sovereign, the first sovereign to go under anesthesia. I believe she tried it at one time. So yeah, she was a very curious person, and it would be difficult for any miniseries or anything to really give you everything that you could ever possibly want to know about her, because I don't care what it is, you'll find out something you did not know the day before. Um, but in spite of all of that, when she went into her mourning period, she was an absentee sovereign, and the Republicans, they were just like, you know what? Do we need a queen? Do we need this royal family? What do we need them for? But they survived that. And so I guess what I'm trying to say is, even though this looks really bad for William, I have heard people say that he will be the last king. There's a lot of monarchists that thinks that William is the one that, you know, ends it, that finishes the whole thing. That is a possibility. But I just think that the royal family will still have some role, even if it's not constitutional. They will have some kind of role. So they're not going away by any stretch. Even if they end this financial free for all, they will negotiate some kind of riches for them. Um, and they will still be a part of the life of the British. The only thing is, perhaps they wouldn't be as visible, but William already is making that happen. And a lot of things that are done with the consent or with the royals, you'll find other ways to get that stuff done, which pretty much is what they're doing right now, aren't they? So I'm just saying, I don't think they're going to go anywhere, but I am shocked. I am shocked that William is getting so much bad press right now, but I am also very, very happy. So let me see. I'm not going to do the whole article, but I'll just share a little bit of it. Prince William and Kate Middleton move to Forest Lodge later this year. Their reported forever home is about putting the needs of family first. Still, some royal critics are raising concerns about what this means for the future of the monarchy. The Daily Mail is pointing out that the Prince of Wales hiding away in Forest Lodge on the Windsor estate could result in an even greater collapse of support among his subjects. It's an extension of the conversation about William and Kate's work ethic. Oh, I'm so glad they came back. Their work ethic. People are talking about it, their work ethic. And if they are doing enough royal appearances. The UK media outlets describe the Wales' decision to move as deeply upsetting because the home is about as isolated as you can get. And outside of Windsor Castle's ring of steel for security, not only will it require additional resources for safety, but it will also allow the royal couple to retreat even further from traditional palace life. And that's where the cries of a possible future part time king come from. And this whole thing about part time king, I wouldn't be surprised if it was being suggested that they use that term from Kensington Palace. Maybe they're floating it just to see how people react. Even William's aunt, Princess Anne, known as the hardest working royal, is reportedly annoyed by his lack of commitment to his high profile role, according to the Times. She wishes her nephew would perform more of the bread and butter royal engagements, which is exactly what William says he's not going to do. He is going to be a royal with a small r. What's that old fashioned phrase? Nice work if you can get it. It is nice work if you can get it. And he seems to have an abundance of it. Let's see. The Prince of Wales is also the stage, is also setting the stage for what his leadership will look like by giving hints during his 2023 Singapore tour. He shared that he wanted the social leadership to be more dialed down in the future. You have to remain focused. If you spread yourself too thin, you just can't manage it, and you won't deliver the impact or the change that you really want to happen, he told the print media via Roya Nika, royal editor of the Sunday Times. Still, royal critics think William needs to step up his game if he wants to rule effectively, especially as the future king. Yes, family is important, but so is the royal role. So, okay, let's look at that part again. He says you want to remain focused, and if you spread yourself too thin, you can't manage it. You just can't manage it. You won't deliver the impact or change that you really want to happen. I trust me when I say this, nobody in government wants him to change anything. No one in government wants him to impact anything. You just wave and smile and take pictures. That is why Queen Elizabeth survived the 70 years on the throne. They don't want you to do anything. How many warnings does this guy get before he realizes it wasn't okay for his father and it won't be okay for you? I believe he is talking a lot. What they leaked to the newspapers, what Roy Anika and the rest of them say, is just part of it. I think this guy is talking a lot and he is scaring the bejesus out of people. I mean, there are people that are absolutely terrified of what it means when he reaches the throne. Now I understand why they were pushing for Harry to come back. Minus Meghan, of course, but it makes more sense why they were pushing for Harry to come back. And I still think they feel as though they need him there because William is a disaster. He is on a collision course with destiny. And the more that he isolates, the more that he talks, the worse it looks. And they're in a panic. That's why they were not welcome to that summit. I don't think there's any kind of relationship with William and his father outside of some very formal things where they ask William, are you going to come? Are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? Everybody knows William hates the Garter uniform. Everybody should have figured out by now William hates going and wearing to Scotland and wearing a kilt. He does not want to wear a kilt. He's not going to. That is not how this works. That is not how this works. And I'm not suggesting that he does anything different because, trust me when I say this, I am looking forward to his failure. I want him to fail. I'm going to cheer every time he fails. The Caribbean tour, an all expense paid vacation to the Caribbean, right? All you had to do was just go there and represent your grandmother. Instead of doing something thinking out of the box, as he tends to, you know, say that he's doing something outside the box, they dress up just like Philip and the Queen, Kate in a lace dress, just like Queen Elizabeth, William in that colonial outfit with the pit helmet and all that crap, just like his grandfather. And they get in the same Range Rover that was used by his grandparents. There's no African representation of any form or fashion at Kensington Palace. And yet, the majority of the people in the Commonwealth look more like me than him. So it's no wonder that that trip was a failure. And I enjoyed every laughable moment of it. That was some of the best material I ever had. Some of the things I said, it was just like it just wrote itself. He is not ready. And I don't think anybody can talk to him. I don't think anybody could talk to him. The only person who could get through to that big, uh, what is it, stone fruit head of his, just the stone minus the fruit. Oh, well, maybe there is some fruit there. Anyway, the only person who could get through to him is Harry. The only person. No one else. Not the courtiers, certainly not Kate, not his dad, nobody. But he has a vision, and no one is going to challenge him. C'est la vie. Let's see how it works out. A mom in the know reveals how Kate Middleton acts at her kids' sport games. Now, this was an article that was also in She Knows. That article, which I'm not going to bore you with it, I'm just going to point out the only reason why they wrote this article is for the same reason that they leaked pretty much the same story with another paper, is because they want people to see Kate as a modern mom who is so devoted to her children that she just can't find time to act out any of her official royal duty. They're trying to make sense out of the incredible amount of time that she has from one day to the next, that she's not doing anything that is required for the Princess of Wales. I don't know how they got on this all of a sudden, but I am glad that their laziness is being called out, because they tried to hide it, they tried to suppress it. Um, they were so busy focusing on the Sussexes and trying their darndest to avoid any comment about um, Willie Idol, and Lazy Katie. But now even the Daily Mail is calling them out. Back to back articles, back to back articles. Amanda Playtell and whoever the other one was, back to back articles grilling them, especially William. Now they're afraid to say anything about Kate because she has the ultimate get out of jail free card. And if you don't know that term, get out of jail free, that was something from the old Monopoly board game, when you can get a card. If you were playing that board game and you found yourself in jail, you could actually hang on to a get out of jail free card. And if you did happen to, count your places and end up in jail, you can get out of jail for nothing. Didn't cost you anything. So when you hear people say get out of jail free card, that's what they're referencing. And so when you hear people say cancer card, that is still a loosely based way of saying get out of jail free card. I think that's how that works. But just a little pop culture term from those board games like Monopoly. Okay. So, Throne Sweet Home, Prince William's downsized monarchy could come at a huge price. Be careful what you wish for, experts say. The expert fear Prince William could lose connection to the people. But why are they so afraid of this house? Why are they so afraid of William isolating himself? Do they really suspect that there is something that is happening in the privacy of William's home, whatever that home is, that is going to draw him away from the public? And I certainly don't mean the children. I mean, I'm sure he's a great dad. I'm sure he's just great with those kids when he doesn't have his finger in somebody's face. I'm sure he's great with those kids. But what are they so afraid of? Why are they afraid of this house? What else could there possibly be? Legs, Hazel, Kennedy. Come on, y'all. What else could there be about this house? Hmm? It's got to be something more to it. Sonia Johnson, what do you think? T-Mac? Lorna? Come on, somebody, tell me something, please. Ah, perfect timing. And something is going on. Our suspicions are justified. They're hiding something. Yes. It's what is piquing my curiosity is this fear of William and Kate isolating themselves in that house. Why all of a sudden did everything turn so dark for them because of that house? I just cannot imagine. Ah, Rohini, what do you have to say about it? Why is the press so terrified about Will and Kate isolating themselves in this home? Zandy Sussex says, personally, I find it funny that after encouraging Willie and Kate's exploits and helping them to bully Harry and Meghan out of the country, the same people are now crying about Willie's plans to be a part time king. Again, I would remind them that this is the monster they created. And he's hinted part time king. He said royal with a small r. He also said that, and I cannot remember the exact words, but he's not going to do the stuff that his father and his grandmother and his grandfather, he's not going to those little things. I do think they mean to bring camera crews, get a lot of footage that they can share, things that they can repeat, things that they can edit and update to make it look as though they're doing busy work. If I can quote Celebrity, something that looks like busy work. That's what I think. Something that will make it seem as though he is almost like an action figure that is going about solving homelessness, peace in the Middle East, helping the environment, stopping the encroachment of civilization in Africa, because that's the only place he can think of where human beings should not develop, right? And aside from that, he believes that the press is going to facilitate this ruse that he's trying to perpetuate. He thinks the press is going to help him do nothing. I really do believe that he expects them to keep making up stuff for him. And I believe that this is a little shot across the bow. We are not going to help you isolate. We're not going to help you isolate. We expect you to show up. I mean, let's think about this. Kate no Royal Ascot, Will and Kate, no BAFTA award, Will and Kate, no BJ Day. And I'm trying to think, oh, Easter. Didn't they miss out Easter? No Will and Kate for Easter? In order to plant the royals on the psyche of the younger generation, they must be seen to be believed, as Queen Elizabeth allegedly said. I must be seen to be believed. 1992 is a year which I shan't look back upon with undiluted pleasure. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. And I didn't have any fire insurance. 1990. 19, 1992. Queen out. Anyway, once I start, it's hard to stop. Uh, uh, anyway, I forgot what I was saying. Let's see. Leg says William pulled the old okey doke on them. They are pissed. I think so too. I think so too. Um, and Legs, what do you think the okey doke was? Is it something related to his work ethic? Do you think it's is something to do with the house and or have they been trying to elevate William all this time only to find out that he was planning a part-time royal reign? But it's something that has them pissed. And I guess that must be it. And of course, they were looking forward to William and Kate making these appearances. Yes, it was a horrible anus and a river a horribus a ribibus. 1992. Philip, Philip. Thank you, Rohini. I almost forgot about that horrible anus. Oh, by the way, thank you, Legs, for the super chat. Let me see. Why do you feel they need to say Kate would only wear her ring on important occasions? Why was Tess reporting of Willie being a single? Yes, thank you for the reminder. The Tess reporting of William being a single dad. And there were many times when William in 2023, remember 2023, William and somebody allegedly started circulating the idea of a royal divorce. And in 2023, they started posting things on their social media with images of William and the kids and no Kate. And of course, when the war in Ukraine, William posted something about the war, or was it October 7th or something? And he only signed it William. He used, oh, I'm so glad you remind me, Sussex Team Warrior. You are a team player. He also used his style or his monogram or whatever that he used before he was married. So you're right. They were testing the waters. Hot diggity dog, I tell you, when the Sussex squad put their heads together, we can get to the bottom of anything. But that's exactly right. They were doing a whole bunch of these tests to see what people would tolerate. And I guess this most recent test did not turn out like Kensington Palace expected. it was so bad. They failed this test so bad that the tabloid media has decided to call him out. Not one, but two very negative articles concerning William. And they're not going to blame Kate as much as they're going to blame William because they know that Kate does not have much of a voice. Although it seems as though in 2024, they were using quite a bit of leverage to remind that institution that Kate is not working as much as William. And I think William may be resentful of the idea that Kate can get away with this because of her, you know, situation, her precancerous cells. That is her get out of jail free card, and he doesn't have one. He doesn't have one. And maybe the press, maybe someone, maybe Clarence House is reminding him, you do not have the same luxury. And maybe he's resentful and he expects to, because remember when Kate first went to the hospital and came home and everything, William immediately said through his people that he was going to take as much time as he needs to care for Kate. Family comes first. And y'all know that William was not thinking about Kate like that. William went out to dinner with Tom Cruise, laughing and drinking and smiling and everything else. That was that night he was sitting next to that dark haired lady. Oh, you guys, I have so many clippings, so much stuff that I've saved. And I was just thinking earlier today, I would like to like spend the day dropping all of those things on the slides in chronological order so that we can go through some of these things because I think it would be a good exercise just for us to remember stuff, just as Sussex Teen Warrior reminded us about all of these little test reporting that they have been doing. Thank you so much for that again. But yeah, they have been testing the waters. They definitely have been doing that. William basically told them they will be out and give him the kids. Remember, the press reminded him to bring the kids to Italy last year. They wanted to feed, yet they have been starved. You know what, Legs? I didn't think about that, but maybe that's what the issue is, the kids, or the part of the issue. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's part of it, is the kids. Because I have to say, whenever they appear, and God, I promise you, I'm not trying to be critical of those kids in any way, but they don't look happy. Most times they do not. As though I don't know if it's training to be as still as they are and as stoic as they are. But when the kids went to the Wimbledon, that was not a good day. That was not a good day. There were parts of the Wimbledon where I actually cringed. And I'm not blaming the children, I'm blaming the parents. But there were parts of Wimbledon where I cringed. And maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe they the institution has ideas for the children and William and Kate has other, I mean, because think about it. They are moving outside of the protection of Windsor Castle, right? They are separating themselves from the institution. They're doing everything that they can to be as autonomous as Harry and Meghan, but still have all of the benefits of being senior royals, so called working royals. Does any of this make any sense? It seems as though they're trying to be in Montecito without leaving Windsor. Think about that for a minute. I mean, I'm just throwing some stuff out there. Let's see. Peggy just figured if I serve up Harry and Meghan, then I could go off in peace and do nothing. But the press is like, no, sir. Oh, Rohini, I love it. I love it. That makes so much sense. Now, remember, you guys, we are brainstorming. And so far, you guys, everything you say, one thing sounds just as good as the other. I mean, several things can be true at the same time. If I serve up my brother and my sister in law, if I feed them to the wolves, then the press will be hands off. And in the future, I can do as little as possible, as often as possible, and they won't mess with me. And the press is like, no, it doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Nothing works like you think it does. We expect you and the children and Kitty to be at our beck and call. Let me see. Baron, didn't Willie say she didn't have cancer? And Pippa said it too. I don't remember Willie saying that she didn't. I just remember that there was a formal statement from the palace or from Kensington Palace after the surgery or when they announced the surgery or whatever, they said it was non-cancerous. I do recall that. As far as Pippa, I don't recall her saying that. So I don't know, this might be something I missed, but I don't recall either one of them saying that. Rohini says the almost cancer thing is not working anymore. They better call it Aquarius because this zodiac, not it. Uh, well, the press is doing most of the work because the press is saying cancer. The press is saying, and well, you know what? It's not just the press because there was a formal something from Kensington Palace. I do believe there was something formal saying that Kate was in remission. Or did they? Was that the press that said she was in remission? Or did that actually come from Kensington Palace? I don't remember a formal stating saying a statement saying that she was in remission. There is the possibility that the press just started saying things that they felt was true. There's been inconsistencies with precancer, non-cancerous, precancer cells, preventative cancer treatment, which I definitely know is not a thing. Preventative cancer treatment. And that's where the problem is that Kensington Palace have used wording that demonstrates that they do not have much knowledge about cancer or cancer treatments. Whoever's putting these statements out or whoever is saying these things at the and also I don't know why the tabloids. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't say that. I do know why. Have you noticed that the tabloids do not have any medical experts speaking about Charles or Kate? They have that one doctor, Pembroke or Pimplebrook, whatever his name is, and he spends more time talking about other stuff. And I think maybe only one or two columns was actually about Kate. And I don't think he said anything about Charles, to the best of my knowledge. So they do not have an in house medical professional to explain anything. They've never had one, and they certainly don't have one now. They're not even quoting other publications where that's concerned. Oh, RS, thank you so much for the PayPal. Oh, and thank you too. I appreciate that. Okay. Uh, William Middlebaum, strong-armed Queen Charles, and now he's doing the UK media. If y'all want me, I'm going to be on my. Oh yeah, if y'all want me, it's going to be on my terms, says William. William been playing this game. You think? I mean, I wait. It's not that I don't believe it, but it's God that seemed very bold. But maybe that's exactly what happened. Maybe that's exactly what happened. Maybe William kind of overestimated his power. Maybe he's overestimating his power. Maybe he thinks he has more authority with the press than someone like Charles and Godzilla, who have been cultivating that relationship with the press much longer than William. I think William mostly ignored the press until he got that settlement from Rupert Murdoch. I think he mostly ignored the press. Well, that is interesting, Mary H. Let me think about that one for a little while. Was William trying to strong arm the media? And it backfired on him. You guys, I am loving tonight. Y'all are coming up with some really good stuff. Let me see. The older kids are more aware of the circus. Kids at George's school might be clowning his dad. I mean, kids could be. Ooh, you have just put a whole nother thing here. Kids are cruel. Kids are cruel. And we already know that George has had some issues with his classmates. Amen. And knowing how cruel kids are, it is not out of the realm of possibility that some of this may have been spawned by an exchange at school or something like that. I tell you what, if they started having tutors come in, which I doubt if they would take them kids out of school, but my God, if they started having tutors coming to teach those kids, ooh boy, I tell you, that would really start a firestorm. I don't think that that's going to happen, but I'm just saying, I am very fascinated with this whole isolation thing. My imagination is running wild with the isolation and what it could possibly mean. Let me see. I believe it's because they are trying to copy Harry and Meghan's home thing. Will be the next thing will be a koi pond and some beehives. Yeah, one of the squatties the other day did a side by side of Montecito Manor and this new place that the Wellses are moving into, and it did kind of have that vibe. The silhouette seems so similar. It did kind of have that vibe, and I would not doubt that that was one of the things that kind of drew them to this house, was that they can set things up much in the way that the Sussexes have, because at Adelaide Cottage, that is within the grounds of the Windsor Castle estate, right? This house will be outside of it. Maybe there's some things that they want to do to the grounds to make it feel more Montecito. Ooh, I'm getting a chill thinking about that. That is giving me a chill. You guys, I don't want to miss a single comment, but I really have to kind of keep this moving because uh-huh. I'm gonna talk about that later. At least I was gonna mention that later. I remember when Kate said cancer patients must drink a lot of water and get lots of sun. If you're going to lie, do the proper research and lie convincingly. Exactly, exactly. And that goes right along with what I was saying is that they are quoting things from Kensington Palace, and all of the stuff that they're saying is inconsistent with someone with cancer. Kate going into spaces without a face mask and such, for someone going, and that goes for Charles III too. Also, this whole thing about the sunlight and nature and everything, those, the way and when and the way they were saying and what they were saying, I just remember as these things came out, they always seemed to be inconsistent with someone going through whatever cancer treatment they were trying to make us believe that Kate was going through. Even during the 172 days that she was MIA, there was so many inconsistencies. Someone takes a picture, it comes out grainy, even though they could just snap another picture and get it closer and get it better. They just have that one picture. Oh, Kate's in the back of the car. William's going to drop her off somewhere. And then he's going to what? Westminster Abbey? She's dressed up with a pillbox hat, right? One of those fanciers. Is that what Kate wears to a doctor's appointment? What kind of appointment was Kate going to? Looked like she was dressed in black. And then when they snapped a picture, she turns her head, or whoever it was, and they get a picture of her facing a brick wall. Not a shrub, not a rose bush, a brick wall. That's another inconsistency. And then, of course, I'm not even going to go into the farmer's market. Y'all know how that went. Body double or not, that was strange. And not just one strange thing, several things. The bad quality image from someone who is supposed to be in media and have experience with videography and such, that didn't make sense. And not the other thing that makes no sense is that there are no photos anywhere of Kate doing anything for 172 days except the ones I just mentioned. Nothing. No member of the public, no matter what the event, snapped a picture of them. Nobody. Um, we really got to do it. We really got to do it. I was actually thinking of that earlier today, not the members only, but I was thinking about just laying everything out and going through it bit by bit and just to put our heads together. I seriously was thinking about that earlier. Leg says it looked like someone copied a previous picture of Kate and placed it next to William. People showed the photo where, oh, you mean in the back of the car, where, and the photo seems to have come from one of those walkabouts or something like that. I did see that comparison photo where it looks like the back of Kate's head. It's some walkabout. I remember that. Yeah, same thing. Photoshop. Absolutely. Okay. All right. The Sun, Throne Sweep. Oh, that's the same thing. Monarchy could come at a huge price. Be careful what you ask for. So, the family of five are moving to their forever home nestled in Windsor Great Park. Kate told she had cancer and began her recovery at Adelaide Cottage. Okay. All right. I don't know why I put that up there. I forgot now. Let me take a look. Just in case I meant to say something. Let me take a quick look at the article here. I think it was something inside of it. Insiders say the family are hoping for a fresh start after a difficult time at Adelaide Cottage. Okay. Yeah, I don't think I needed this. Okay. Yep. I did not necessarily need this. I don't think so. Okay, let me move on then. Oh, yes. Yes. Let's get to this one. Jobo and the lady in blue, they definitely had a thing to say, and I want to share that with you. Get this. Oh, there we go. No, that doesn't work. Okay, that works. Oh, is this thing on? Oh, there we go. All right. So let's see what Jobo has to say.
Currently, is it duty second? I don't know. But I think you're right. He's putting a line in the sand at the moment about what he's going to do as monarch going forward.
But as the late Queen, you say, you've got to be seen to be believed. And the fact is, you've got to be out active. And there has been criticism in the papers, subsequent to your splash, about the lack of jobs that he's doing. And compared to, say, the Princess Royal and even the King. I mean, the King, is still living with cancer and is very, very active. And it must be incredibly sapping for him. And the Princess Royal, I mean, I was at a function the other day where she became president, taking over from the Duke of Edinburgh as president of the In-N-Out Club. And there she was, turning up late at night, and then having dinner with the board of directors till about 11. She'd had a full and active day. It goes to the territory. If you remember what she said in that interview with the Canadian television, is that be careful what you wish for, because if you start downsizing too much, your influence, your stretch, it becomes less. You're less connected with the people. People do turn out when they see, particularly people like Sophie Wessex and the new Duke of Edinburgh and Prince Edward. They turn out in droves, and they like that connection. And if you lose that connection, the monarchy actually loses something that it's about.
And also, it sort of feeds into the Republican ideal that why do we need a monarchy? Currently, is it duty second?
Exactly what I just said about Queen Victoria. When she was absent, it fed right into the narrative. Why do we even need a monarchy? When William said royal with a small r, the press should have called him out then. But by just quoting him and leaving it at that, they only emboldened him to take the next step and the next step and the next step. They should have been calling him out much sooner. Now they have created a monster. Now they don't know what to do. Now they're going to try to shame him into making more appearances. And let's just say, for the sake of conversation, that maybe there was some kind of negotiation last year with Kate about her future role so that there will not be a royal divorce. Let's just say that possibly happened, allegedly happened. And so they managed to work that out. No one reported about it, right? And of course, they seem to have worked out some kind of PDA to make something work where the public would think that they are so in love, and all of it orchestrated. And of course, their guidebook for this PDA, public um, displays of affection, their guide was what? Harry and Meghan. That's what they use as a lesson in public displays of affection. That's what they used. That was their guidepost. And so that seemed to work out. And so let's just assume that William figured, well, we worked that out. There's no divorce. We worked that out. They didn't talk about it. And whatever else, Kate gets to do less work. We worked that out. And now they want to take it another step. They want to isolate themselves away from court life. They don't want to have a traditional royal court. I suspect William only wants to limit himself to just a handful of his bearded aides and not the rest of the traditional infrastructure that goes into reigning as the monarch. Maybe he has rejected that. We already know that he does not want to be head of the church, that he doesn't intend to do anything with the Church of England. We already know how he feels about the Commonwealth. That was a disaster. I don't think he's ever interested in doing anything with the Commonwealth again. I don't know if they could ever get him to go any place but Canada, or probably New Zealand and Australia, but any place else? Africa? Nope. Caribbean? Nope. I doubt if he'd ever do it. He's abusing the furniture, huh? Let's see. William is Princess Diana's son too. He feels the same as Prince Harry, but he felt stuck when the Queen was alive. William, Prince Harry made it out. Yeah, you know what, Mary H? It does seem like William wants the half in, half out. William wants the home away from everything, just like Harry and Meghan. He wants the half in, half out, which of course they would not allow for Harry and Meghan. He wants to make videos and be followed around with a camera crew, just like Harry and Meghan. He wants people to celebrate and love him, much like Prince Harry. He wants people to adore his wife, much like Meghan. So much so that he has had his staff dress her up. Oh, this is getting sick. Dress her up just like she's Meghan. Even the hair down one side, just like Meghan. It is pretty sick when you think about it. Sonia Johnson Barron, in other words, William wants to get rid of the men in gray. Yes. He wants to get rid of the men in gray suits. I don't believe William has any traditional men in gray suits in Kensington Palace. I don't think he has one. And I don't think the men in gray suits trust Jason. I don't think the men in gray suits trust Christian. That's a problem. I think they would accept, what is her name? But she's not really a man in gray suit. She's just, I'm thinking about Samantha the Panther Cohen. I don't know if she would really measure up to a man in gray suit. Plus, she's not a man. Square jaw, yes, but man, no. Um, I don't think William has any traditional men in gray suits around him. I don't think there's anyone near him that has a family that goes back for generations in royal service. Can you all think of someone? Because I cannot. I cannot think of anyone near William. I mean, because in case you all didn't know this, I know most of you know, but some of you don't. Jason is from Texas. Jason is an American from Texas. So he's not a traditional gray suit. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's a matter of the isolation along with no men in gray suits. None of those traditional people in his court. Okay, I got one more of these I'm going to play. I think it's much shorter.
It becomes less, you're less connected with the people. You know, people do turn out when they see, particularly people like, you know, Sophie Wessex and the new Duke of Edinburgh and Prince Edward. They turn out in droves, so they like that connection. Yeah. And if you lose that connection, the monarchy actually loses something that it's about. It becomes less, you're less connected with the people. You know, people do turn out when they see, particularly people like, you know, Sophie Wessex and the new Duke of Edinburgh and Prince Edward. They turn out in droves, so they like that connection. Yeah. And if you lose that connection, the monarchy actually loses something that it's about. It becomes less, you're less connected with the people.
Less connected to the people. Vivid Mac says the UK shouldn't whine because they made the Wales more and more lazier, and they seem to have Peter Pan syndrome. Thank you for your comment. I think William resents the men in gray. He sees them and thinks of his parents. Ooh, that's interesting. In spite of the fact that he seems to be a company man, maybe he still sees the men in gray suits and think about the War of the Waleses. Everything that happened with his parents. That is interesting. I like that one. Yeah, I let that get past me, didn't I? Thank you, Anne. I appreciate it. People don't turn up for Sophie. No one wants to get wrong. Yes, the streets are not safe when there is a Sophie Wessex motorcade about, especially for grandmas. Grandmas will find themselves pinned up against the wall with nothing to save them but their walking frame. Yeah, no one's safe when there's a Sophie motorcade out there. Thank you for that. You have to be very, very careful what you ask for because you just might get it. And once you get it, you regret it. Now, deal with it. One of the squaddies posted that earlier, and I thought that was quite apropos. Now, why can King Charles with cancer do more work than Kate Middleton in her prime? Oh, now you see, that's how you tell it. That is how you do it. Instead of making it seem like you're picking on Kate, just ask the question, why is it possible for Charles to do more through illness than Kate could do in her prime? For 13, 14, however many years it's been, 12 years, 13, 14, Kate has used the excuse of raising the future royals, the future king. She has used that excuse over and over again, and they never called her out on it. I don't believe this whole idea of Kate going through horrendous morning sickness and such. That was an excuse for Kate to disappear while she was pregnant. And then, of course, after she had the baby, well, she has a newborn. What can she do? So that was she's always, my point is, there's always been an excuse. The only thing that is not excused is her annual trip to Wimbledon, and pretty much any sport that involves men. Women, she's really sometiming, but when it has to do with men, she's there. And interestingly enough, when it comes to William, he tends to show up almost 100% of the time for men's sport and almost never if it's the lady teams. So go figure that one out. So anyway, I'll do just a little bit of this article and then we'll talk about it. So recently, the media latched onto a new narrative. Kate Middleton is struggling after her cancer treatment. Reports claim that although her cancer is in remission, she still suffers emotionally and physically, tires easily, and finds it difficult to readjust to royal life. Behind closed doors, she still struggles emotionally and tires a lot more easily. It's taking longer to readjust to royal life after her cancer treatment. She's still not back to where she's still not back to where she was before her diagnosis, and she's not sure she will ever be. This is from Radar Online. I shared that article yesterday, which is why she told William she needs a decent break from term start in September. She's unofficially stepped back from royal duties this summer. And of course, William is wholly supportive. Now, within this Feminagra article, they just put that quote from Radar Online. So the Radar Online article, why is it Radar Online instead of the Sun? Why is it Radar Online instead of the Mail? Why are they going to Radar Online to release this information, in all likelihood directly from Kensington Palace? Is it because the Sun and the Mail are against this retreat from public life? Is it because they don't agree with it? Is that why they had to go to the Radar and give them that quote instead of giving it to the Sun and the Mail? Isn't that interesting? It comes out in Radar and not the Sun or the Mail. So it seems like one of the courtiers was just like, oi, oi, yeah, love. Oh man, this is getting more and more interesting. Now, Feminagra says this should not surprise anyone. Back in September 2024, the palace released a glossy video where Kate declared she had finished chemotherapy. One of her key messages was that she would not return to work full time, at least not as before. She openly admitted she had to take things slowly. That video prepared the public for exactly what we see now, Kate doing very few engagements. But Kate went to skiing at least 2 times, possibly 3 times this year. Kate went to the island of Mystique. Kate went to Greece and spent time on a $500 million yacht. Kate went to Wimbledon. She did everything that she wanted to do. But the things that she's not so interested in, she begrudgingly showed up to trooping the colors, right? Appearing none the worse for wear. But when it's time to do work, and I think that's what the problem is that there are people close enough to the Welleses that are either reporting behind their backs, or perhaps they just don't pretend when they're with the rest of the family or whatever. But perhaps there are people that know that Kate takes off when Kate wants to take off. William takes off when he chooses to take off. And that's that. It is business as usual. And I think the problem is that when Kate decides to not work, it emboldens William to stay home or to go wherever he goes. Whatever is going on with Kate, there is no reason why William takes as much time off as he does. And if you all remember the comments from yesterday, how many times in those comments, those few comments, did you see people say, well, in my household, we just get on with it. Most people with cancer just get on with it. Most people with cancer don't have the ability to take more time off. They have to keep a roof over their head. And that's why I said yesterday, they are not helping with this Feel Sorry for Kate campaign. It didn't work last year. And it's only becoming even worse to try to use that narrative to make the excuse for her to not work. That is why they were furious about those images of Kate skiing, because it counters the narrative that she is in such frail health. And how dare they do that? They have orchestrated this carefully curated, carefully crafted narrative about Kate's taking it slowly, not moving too soon, taking it day by day. And then there's Kate doing the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat on the slopes. The criticism grows louder from media outlets who are generally favorable toward Kate. However, now they are even asking why she doesn't work as much as older royals such as Princess Anne or even her father-in-law, King Charles. Both carry out more engagements despite Charles undergoing cancer treatment in his 70s. He is not cancer-free, yet his workload puts Princess of Wales to shame. This raises key questions. What exactly counts as a royal engagement? At its core, it is not back-breaking labor. It means ribbon cutting, meet and greets, hospital visits, school openings, charity polo ops, charity polo photo ops, or a christening, a worship. These symbolic appearances define royal visibility. Here lies the contradiction. If Kate takes multiple vacations to Mystique, the French Alps, and Greece, why is she too frail for routine appearances? Why? How is she too frail for routine appearances? The lazy royal label for Kate Middleton, which there it is right there. This is what they have included with the article. Lazy star player Prince William and Kate Middleton blasted for their dismal work record throughout 2023. That was before it happened, right? Lazy Kate Middleton, Prince William, bashed for lack of 2023 engagement. He is Diana's son. Calamity William and the courtiers who who won't say no. The real reason why work-shy prince keeps blundering from one public relations gaffe to another. And that article is from 2016, pre-Meghan. Queen is not amused by Duchess Kate's laziness and vanity. Kate Middleton, 2014, Duchess continues to work less than any other royal. Tara Wilson, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. So the courtiers and Buckingham Palace are sabotaging the Waleses. God, I hope so. I really do hope so. Yeah, nobody's talking about her being racist now. But I tell you what, if Kate's not working, William's not working. I don't think William will stand for it. If she doesn't have to work, he's not going to work. He made that clear the first time. If she's not working, he's not working. They really are messed up. They really are messed up. Kate being called lazy is nothing new. From the moment she married into the royal family, the label stuck. The late Queen Elizabeth II reportedly remarked on her reluctance to work, and the press branded her Duchess Doolittle. More than a decade later, nothing has changed. She never increased her workload, and the institution never forced her to, which raises the real question: was Kate ever expected to work much at all? What Diana's shadow taught William about choosing a wife. The truth goes deeper than health. Royal history shows how visibility shaped power. Charles and Diana clashed because Diana outshone him. She drew all the attention nationally and internationally. Charles, as the heir, could not stand being eclipsed. It caused a permanent rupture in their marriage, along with his affair with Camilla Barker Bowles. After Diana's death, Charles married Camilla, a woman who never rivaled him for public adoration and never threatened his spotlight. Critics argue that William learned from his father's mistakes, choosing a wife unlikely to eclipse him in the spotlight. By marrying Kate, a woman with no career, pedigree, or public profile, he ensured he would never be overshadowed. Kate's silence, restraint, and lack of independence shine made her more perfect consort in waiting. She stepped out when required, plays the part dutifully, but never dominates the stage. That is why he has never carried a heavy workload and never will. Well, that's one reason he just don't want to. Unlike Queen Elizabeth, who carried out engagements while battling cancer, or King Charles, who continues working throughout treatment, as well as millions of ordinary people who must work while ill. Kate's cancer story has already been positioned as a convenient excuse for doing less. The public is expected to accept this contradiction without question. Why Meghan was rejected while Kate is restricted? Why Meghan was rejected while Kate is restricted? The history explains why Meghan Sussex faced such fierce rejection. Meghan, by virtue of her career, charisma, race, and presence, naturally drew attention away from the institution's chosen heirs. She could not play mute. She refused to dim her light. The imbalance was impossible to contain. And the only solution was Meghan and Harry to leave altogether. Now in 2025, the contradiction continues. William and Kate are moving into yet another home, Forest Lodge, under the guise of privacy. Wow. God, you know what? I just realized they stole that from the Sussexes, didn't they? They stole that from them. Even though the Sussexes never said they wanted their privacy, they stole something that they never said. Mm, mm, mm. Under the guise of privacy, while also doing less work. The reality seems clear. Kate continues to function as part-time royal, with her appearances concentrated on key ceremonial occasions rather than day-to-day duties. The palace wants her visible enough to uphold the perfect royal family image, but never so prominent that she threatens William's position. You know, as I think about this, um, I have several articles from oh gosh, Rebecca English, where Rebecca English kept trying to massage that into our minds that Kate Middleton may never be a full-time royal, that Kate Middleton may never come back completely, that Kate Middleton, I remember when they said that she would not even be seen for most of 2024, that she may not come back until next year. This is why I was shocked at the first of the year. And maybe listen to me, maybe that's what caused this collapse, because they pushed Kate out there when they thought Meghan, with Love Meghan, was going to start. Remember that? Will and Kate was all over the place, exhausting themselves, doing more work in 1 week than they usually do in a month. And it was the same thing in the fall of 2023 when Will and Kate, because of the Omid Scobie book, they had them out there all over the place, especially Kate. All for one and one for all that kind of stuff they were talking. And I knew then that that was unsustainable because Kate cannot work consistently. She just cannot do it. She will not do it. So anytime you see Kate get off her high horse and go and do some work, just know that it's temporary. Kate is not there for the long haul. And I think it's more her nerves than any physical illness. I think she is painfully shy. I think she has a lot of anxiety. That whole little mouth twitch and all that stuff, those little things that she does, is because of her incredible anxiety. And she masks that with that scowl that she gives, where she looks like the evil witch from a Disney cartoon. She kind of masks it like that. But the truth is, she is a scared little rabbit who is afraid to speak publicly, who is afraid to do actual royal duty. She's not very good at it. She's good at showing up and wearing a dress. But aside from that, the part where you have to talk to people, they put her at a little kid's table. They circle her with other people and allow her to whisper and mumble stuff that the camera can barely pick up. And that is considered a good day for her. She's not even capable. Not only does she not want to do it, she basically is not capable. They have been trying for years to get her get her to do the most basic public address. And she just cannot do it. Which is why I resent pitting someone so fragile, someone so untalented against a high achiever like Rachel Meghan Markle. I resent that. Meghan Sussex, the Duchess of Sussex, Princess Henry of Wales or Princess Henry of Sussex, whatever hat she's wearing that day, it is an embarrassment. It is painful to watch them try to push Kate into these things. And if Kate is not working because she is standing her ground and telling them, I cannot do this, good for her. Good for her. That's what she needs to do. They wanted a mannequin, and that's what they got. If you send out for a mannequin, don't be surprised if you get a mannequin. They wanted someone, for lack of a better word, that was simple. They did not want anyone complicated. They didn't want anyone who could speak up, speak out. And then they assign these little projects for her that she has absolutely nothing to do with. I would love for people to ask her questions about the early years and then watch her respond to it. To hear her say exactly what's inside of the binder, if there's anything in it. If Kate wants to impress me, Kate needs to tell them to stop pitting me against Meghan. If she really wants respect, she needs to make that very clear. Even if she has to publicly acknowledge that that is what she wants in the future. Do not pit me against another woman. Least of all, do not pit me against Meghan. She don't have to say it's because I'm not good enough to do it. I'm not capable enough to do it. Just stop. And I will have less than half of the things that I talk about from day to day. I wouldn't say anything else about her. I wouldn't bother with her, but for the fact that she actively participates in this vendetta against Meghan. She is actually an active participant. Nobody is making you dress like Meghan. That is something she's doing on her own. And she cannot be too stupid to know that that's what's happening. I'm sure she watches everything that Meghan does. She needs to stop doing that. That is stalker like behavior. You know, Hazel Jones, I think you're right about that. I believe that to be true. I believe that, like most people that are incapable, and dare I say, a bit of a narcissist, although I hate that word now, I do believe that she thinks that she is just as capable as Meghan, that she is more worthy of public attention, uh, more worthy of celebration than Meghan. I really do believe that she believes that. And that's just goes to show how delusional she is. If she thinks that to be true, she really is a bit, cuckoo, 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 cuckoo. Now, why did you say that? Why did you say that? Because you know what I'm about to do. You know what I'm about to do. And I know that you know that I know what I'm about to do. So when I do it, don't say you didn't ask for it because you did. You did. There you go. You asked for it. I delivered. But I guess you're right. No tiara. Well, I tell you, what's really shocking though is that Kate's arms are more, shall we say, masculine than his. Oh, yes, the Queen of the Night. So that was posted by Glow, and it says, let me see, Prince William and his palace aide, Jason Knopf. This is the lackey who's he sent to try and destroy his sister-in-law, Duchess Meghan, by helping the Daily Mail with evidence which in any case failed to help them win against Meghan. Demons and snakes. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's what you asked for. I delivered. Oh, man. Okay, was that through with that article? Gosh, it's kind of a long one for Feminegra. Yet, despite her limited role and years of being branded lazy, Kate Middleton tops the YouGov poll as most popular royal in 2025. She holds a 74% favorability rating, higher than Princess Anne, the hardest working royal. How does Kate remain so admired when she does the least work and is barely visible? If YouGov is to be believed, her popularity comes not from effort or achievement, but from carefully curated images, making the palace restrict her visibility to ensure she never outshines William, but simultaneously present her as the perfect consort, graceful, silent, and photogenic. It is the core contradiction of the monarchy that Kate must be admired, but not too admired. Present, that is, but not too present. In the end, her role is not to lead, innovate, or outshine. It is to reinforce the air and remind the public of the hierarchy. Yeah, that's it. Let me see. When it comes to Meghan Sussex and Kate Middleton, their roles could not be more different. Kate was always meant to be the acceptable wife, seen but not heard. Nearly 20 years into royal life, Kate's public speaking still falters with the articulation of a schoolgirl. With the articulation of a schoolgirl, with all of the palace's resources and William serving as BAFTA president, one would think she'd have received proper coaching by now. However, she was never chosen for her charisma or intellect, but for her ability to play the part. A compliant, photogenic partner who would never outshadow the heir. And lastly, it says, this is where Kate Middleton becomes a weapon. She is presented as the fair English rose, the Stepford wife who does little, but whose mere presence is used to counter Meghan. William does not want Kate to shine too brightly, but he needs her elevated whenever Meghan gains traction. That is why we have seen Kate echo Meghan's style, mimic her cadence, and rush out announcements to compete with Meghan's projects. It is a deliberate tactic to remind the public that William is heir, but by extension, his wife must always be portrayed as superior, no matter how little she actually does. For William and Kate, hierarchy rules. In this worldview, only the heir and his consort matter, and everyone else must dim their light. With Love, Meghan, released in August of 2024, it was not. It was not be. Let me see. It would not be surprising if Kate Middleton makes an appearance soon after. Whenever Meghan dominates the news cycle, Kate, as William's wife, must also take some of the spotlight, even if it requires no effort on her part, simply because hierarchy dictates it. You know, I was laughing. I was thinking, wouldn't it be fun if the Sussexes deliberately announce something and let Kate go and exhaust herself, and then at the 11th hour cancel and like do it in a week or two? If they did, how many times do you think they would do that before Kate would drop the extensions right off the back of her head? How many times do you think they would do that? Kate's extensions would just simply wither on the vine. Oh, oh my God, I would love that. I would love that. You guys, please don't forget to hit the like button. I repeat, please don't forget to hit the like button. Also, if you do not have a membership, memberships start at only $4.99. Now, because of the economy, you notice I have not mentioned the Royal Sussex wish list. I think things are kind of tight for people. However, if you can support Royal Sussex, please do. Um, it's with the what do you call it? A lot of people are watching the shorts now. So as you notice, the views for Royal Sussex and some of the other Sussex friendly spaces are not what they used to be. So hitting that like button can help drive the algorithm. It really does help. So if you can, please make sure you are subscribed and make sure you hit the like button. Kate doesn't have the power to speak out how she feels or thinks her husband and the monarchy. She will do exactly as they say. Everything she does is what the monarch wants her to do. Well, yes and no. Everything she does is what William wants her to do. Because remember, Charles is the monarch. Charles is reigning. And whatever they want from Kate has to go through William. And I think sometimes William just does not want Kate around. So that is why Kate has missed some of those state dinners. I believe that's, well, I think the reason Kate doesn't wear the tiaras as much, I believe that has to do with Camilla. I just came across the article from the, what is that, the flower show? And if you all recall, Kate showed up in a pink dress hours before Charles and Camilla. Now, Charles and Camilla were looking for some really good press from the flower show. Is it the Kensington Flower Show or something like that? And that caused a bit of a rift between the two households. I do believe that Charles and his consort were absolutely furious with Kate, who showed up early, got all the attention from the photographers, and by the end of the day, when they uploaded those photos to the various news services, um, Charles and Camilla was barely photographed. The front page featured Kate Middleton. William was a no-show. So I think that those things, in all likelihood, filters through William, and then William will give a yay or a nay. And I think perhaps some of the things that William refuses is likely why there has been so much friction between the households. Ooh, that's a good one, Naomi. Willie wants to isolate Kate and turn her into a homemaker like Meghan. I believe they are going to make and sell their own videos. My goodness. Now that is interesting. They are going to use Forest Lodge as a laboratory where they can experiment with Kate, the homemaker, because that will endear Kate with so many people if they can keep her in the garden. Now, I don't know what they're going to grow in that climate, but that's not the point. Oh my goodness, that is something to think about. Kate and friends. They'll have to hire some friends, of course. But yeah, that is interesting. Huh. You know what? Stick a pin in that one. I think that is going to happen. I think that is going to happen. That's why they need all this space. Thank you for that. Kate downsizing rings hollow as Welleses expand their royal property empire. You know what, guys? I'll do that one tomorrow. I'm not going to go through that article tonight because we're already 2 hours in. But right there, you can see some of those properties, including the taxpayer currently provides William and Kate with an apartment in Kensington Palace. It actually is actually a mansion complete with 20 rooms, it's 4 stories, several reception rooms, a drawing rooms, lots of staff bedrooms and gym, an elevator, and walled garden. Okay. Naomi, let me go back to that. When I said garden, that just triggered something. That makes so much sense. A big garden where Kate and the kids can run around just like, yeah, I'm seeing that. I do see it. I could see that happening. William, the ultimate stalker that he is, wants to replicate all things Montecito. Yeah, he wants to show Harry, the audience of one, he wants to demonstrate to Harry that he has the power to recreate the Montecito experience right there in Windsor. If they put up 2 palm trees, I am going to lose my mind. If they put 2 palm trees up, I am going to go bonkers. Okay, let me at least do this paragraph. Public anger grows over Wells's expanding property empire. Campaign group Republic highlighted the contradiction in their recent thread titled Williams Homes. They noted that Kensington Palace Apartment 1A is no apartment, but it is a 4-story mansion with 20 rooms. Okay, we did all that. William and Kate also retain Anmer Hall, a 10-bedroom house with a pool and tennis courts, along with the Tan Na Gar on the Balmoral estate. The decision to move into an 8-bedroom Forest Lodge after forcing 2 families from the neighboring cottages clashed with claims of simplicity. Okay. Okay. Let me see. I often wonder if will set Kate up with that flower show saying, oh, if Will, okay. I remember an article saying that Kate to go growing used to go growing up and didn't need permission to attend. Camilla said, I bet. That was a lot of friction at the time. I remember that caused a bit of controversy, a spot of bother. Yes, that was more than a notion that time. Okay, thank you so much for your comment. The two families, okay, we talked about that. Throne eye, okay. Next, Princess Anne reportedly tired and annoyed as William passes on bread and butter duties. We talked about that. Fresh start, moving to gorgeous. Yeah. Okay, we talked about that. Oh, this is from the Sussex Soldier. Kate can't use the kids anymore as an excuse to stay lazy. The copycat copied her, what is that? Something, King Charles cancer story to have a reason for her and her husband to remain idle. Vacations, not struggling, no cancer card. Royal duties, she is struggling, cancer card out. Oh, okay. So vacation, no cancer card. Royal duties, she is struggling, cancer card comes out. Got it. So there you go. Do you see I'm struggling? I'm struggling behind the closed doors. Yawn. I love it. Now, when it comes to their PDA, I thought about it. You see there on the left side, what a loving gesture of William. William, who jumped off of a private jet and left his pregnant wife to navigate the steps. William, who got in the carriage and sat down and left his wife struggling to get into the carriage that was bouncing around. He didn't think that she should get in first. He got in and sat down, and then she was allowed to fight and struggle her way inside of the carriage. Did y'all see that video? Oh, it was disgusting. Anyway, what I'm saying is this. The picture on the right is a intimacy coach. However, for the purposes of the conversation, I'm giving you an example of what a PDA coach would do, and that is to sit back and take notes and then advise them on how to look like a loving couple. So I'm not saying that they used any kind of coach, but I'm saying I believe they did. I cannot prove it, but I think that someone coached them in the fine art of PDA, just like the lady sitting there with her notebook. Just like that. Because that gesture of Williams does not look natural. Him taking her hand like that is so contrived. No way has that ever happened spontaneously, ever. William doesn't have enough intelligence to do something like that. This is their usual thing. William takes the lead, and Kate does the best she can to keep up. And that's why when you see them unguarded like that, those unguarded images of them, that is why Kate always looks so angry and disappointed. Not to mention the fact that she just does not want to be there. I really believe that Kate was brought on as a part time royal. She was not meant to work. And I think that they do force her into these positions to compete with Meghan. And I cannot help but think that that is exhausting for her. That has got to be very, very exhausting for her. I know. Yes, look at it. Look at it. Yeah, poor Anne is still recovering. Every so often she goes out in the garden trying to find those Newports that flew out of her hand when she was viciously kicked in the head. Yeah, poor Anne has I mean, to all seriousness, she did suffer a concussion, and because of that, she doesn't remember what happened. And I think from time to time, she, hallucinates or whatever, allegedly, and she goes out there in the garden and start looking around for those loose squares that flew out of her pocket when. Oh, that's not funny. Okay, let's move on. Oh, Kate would stay with the children while William often went off on his own. He was spotted on the, what is that, Chapelette's lift, one of the most remote in the resort, eyes fixed on his phone, seemingly preoccupied and an attentive ski observer. Meanwhile, there's Kate. There's Kate trying to find her balance. Wow, look at Kate. For someone who has these sudden bouts of fatigue, for someone who just is so, you know, withdrawn from everything, it does not affect her ability to ski. I guess that's what brings her out of her shell or something like that, but very interesting. When she really wants to do something, she's up and adamant. And when it's something that is deemed boring or, superfluous, then she takes to her bed, so they say. These are some old clippings, like the big one says, State Secret, Workshire William and Kate take the kids on their first skiing holiday, but only reveal it when it's over and won't tell you where they've been to protect their privacy. I do believe that's the one where they were supposed to go to the what is that thing called? The um Commonwealth Day. A family day out, Kate, William, and Harry are among three generations of royals at the Commonwealth Day service in the year of the Queen's 90th birthday. Okay, so they did go to that one. Did Kate and Wills have their work cut out as matchmakers for newly divorced Thomas Ben? Let me see. Chill out, Wills. You and Kate are getting just a bit too big for your ski boots. William William's anger will have been fueled by recent criticism that he's work shy after it was disclosed that he only puts in 80 hours a month as an air ambulance pilot with the East Anglian Air Ambulance. Oh, what is this one? William and Kate borrowed Duke of Westminster's private jet to fly to secret ski break at five-star Courchevel Resort. Well, Wills has worked 20 hours a week and done 3 royal engagements this year. And by the way, I do believe that article would have been written in March. So that means by March of that year, William had worked 20 hours. Oh, oh well. They let him get away with it. They let him get away with it. You know what, guys? I think I'm gonna call it at this point, and definitely we can come back tomorrow. I'm looking at what I got left, and we could do it tomorrow because, yeah, it's been already 2 hours and 17 minutes. So let's say goodnight now, and I'm gonna try to come on earlier tomorrow so we can drag. And I do mean earlier tomorrow, so we can drag Willie Leaks, okay? And I should get an early start because I got some of the work done. Okay, so love you guys. I will see you all tomorrow. Thank you so much for your support as forever. Thank you for trusting me to do this work. I really do appreciate that. Thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. And remember, the 26th, that is the premiere of With Love, Meghan. And I do believe all 8 episodes are going to be released at one time. So should be fun. And gosh, we're going to have so much to talk about that. I cannot wait. Okay. Love you guys. Good night.